COVID-19 brought about massive disruption to the workforce. In Japan specifically, 600,000 more occupation transitions would need to be made by 2030 in the post-COVID scenario. This is an 11% increase from the pre-COVID days. These disruptions are driven by three trends. The first is the increase in the remote work that is likely to stay. In Japan, 22% of the workforce can work 3 days or more per week remotely. In fact, companies have rapidly established remote work IT infrastructure, and the people who were originally skeptical have learned the benefit of not commuting every day.
Asian governments, companies, and consumers are seeing a huge change in sustainability transformation. First of all, governments announced net zero targets. Japan, Korea, China, some of the other Southeast Asian countries trying to do so as well. There's a lot of change in terms of the country's goals. Secondly, in terms of the companies, different industry sectors started to announce net zero towards 2050, and more come as the financial institutions start announcing sector-based targets. And then thirdly, consumers are starting to change significantly as well. We have seen changes in consumer behavior as we saw in the changes in plastics here in Asia as well. But this is going to come more in terms of how people eat, how people consume. So we see a huge wave of transformation and sustainability coming up in the next 10 years or so here in Asia as well.
So thanks for the kind introduction. I'm Tetsuko Kuwabara from McKinsey & Company. I'm partner of McKinsey based in Tokyo. Very pleased to be here. Pleased to be here particularly because this is the Washington, D.C., which reminds me of my previous life before McKinsey as the foreign service. I was a diplomat. And I was engaged in the Japan-US relationship at the time. So I'm very happy to be here. Also, I'm so honored to be at this seat with Professor Ogawa, given that I'm also from the Columbia Business School. I got an MBA there. So quite a good connection I can observe. And somehow it's not on my resume, but it's probably good to share with you. So I think today, just before getting into the discussion, I'd like to also, in line with what Michael Chui, my colleague from MGI, did, I'd like to share some of the highlights about the report we recently published around the future of Japan. Mike and myself are the co-author of the report, and I was contributing more from the inside Japan as a management consultant.
How's it going, guys?
I should also introduce, because we're doing this on Zoom, we have got producer Ruben with us as well.
Yay.
Hey, good to see you all.
Question, Ruben. Are you recording in a Yorchien?
This is where my daughter has all her books and desk, and yeah, sometimes it feels like a nursery school.
You can tell like the levels of professionalism. If you look at Ishitadami's background, perfectly white, perfectly professional. You look at my background, I'm mid-tier, I've got a curtain. Ruben looks like he is, like I said, in some kind of Kanagawa Ken, Kanagawa Prefecture, Yorchien.
But looks like you have a lot of rooms. You were in like a room of instruments before. This time you're in another room, right? Or is it the same room?
No, it's a different. Well,
すごい.
Yeah, when you're working from home, it's good to change it up.
Yeah. でもね, BJ, I think it's interesting that if you show your room, more, not this white wall. I think it's boring.
Well, you know, if you wanted to say that, spin that positively, it's not boring, it is professional.
Okay. then my background is professional, but yours is like more interesting to watch.
It's just a curtain, really. Just a curtain. So I would say, if anyone is listening to this on podcast, this is